Hello, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, boys and girls. Hello, everyone. This is the Evil Tower Podcast. My name is Oliver G. This is a weekly show about Paris, about France, sometimes about the French language. Sometimes it's a mix of them all, and it kind of is this week, actually. My guest is Valerie Nicolas, and I met her very recently. She's about to set off for a very interesting adventure. She's going to be the head honcho, the directrice générale of the Alliance Francaise in Australia. If that just sounds like a lot of French words to you, that's all right. She explains it about halfway through. But I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of you guys out there are members of the Alliance Francaise language school all over the world. So you probably know what you're in for. Now the topic, it's hard in an episode like this to sort of single it down to one topic for the headline that you clicked on. But we tried to steer the conversation around the things that you miss as a French person when you go abroad. And Valerie was very interesting in this case because she's lived in so many different countries and so many different cultures. And so I was particularly fascinated by the things that she missed. I'm not going to give it away. She's going to sort of reel them off as we get into the conversation a little bit. A note on the episode, we recorded it in the Marais, in the sort of upper Marais. In English, you'd call it the Square du Temple or Temple. The Square du Temple. A really beautiful park you should all visit. And if you close your eyes, you can probably imagine you're sitting on the park bench with us, looking out over the ducks, the pond, the children playing, table tennis players in the background. You can picture it. A quick word of thanks to the Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this show wouldn't exist. If you are one, thank you. If you're sitting next to one, please thank them, because without them, I wouldn't be here. Let's get into the show. I'll be back at the end to read out a fun email that came in that will serve as a bit of a tourist lesson to a lot of you guys if you're ever thinking to eat in Paris, and especially one particular place. More on that at the end. Here comes Valerie Nicolas from the Alliance Francaise in Australia. Enjoy the episode. Valerie, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Ça va bien.
Did you think we would do everything in French? Because it will be in English, I'm sorry.
I'll do my best.
Okay, great.
To speak your language, which
Yes.
is not so easy for me. Huh?
Especially, and we'll talk more about this later, but especially the Australian accent is different.
Don't talk to me about Australian accent. Will be my next
You
nightmare.
need to practice already, though.
How are you doing?
Oh, what? No.
No.
One more time, let me hear that.
How are you doing, mate?
That was kind of good.
Mate.
No, mate.
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 G'day.
Good day.
G'day.
Good day.
You know how you can tell if someone can speak Australian well? There's two cities in Australia. One, you've heard of Melbourne, right?
Of course.
So say it.
Melbourne.
Pretty good. But if it's more like Melbourne,
Melbourne.
pretty good.
Melbourne.
And then the
that's
other one
right.
is Cairns.
Cairns.
Very
yes,
good.
in North, yeah, Cairns.
You'll be
I've already been there.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So the idea is we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to travel the world so much and to miss things about France. I'm really curious. I've never had this conversation with someone or someone like you. But first I want to set the scene, because you know this area well where we're sitting. Is this the Square du Temple?
Square du Temple, in front of the town hall, la mairie du 3e arrondissement, in the middle of Paris, close to Republic. It's a beautiful place. You have, how do you call the place where you can grow? You can grow vegetables.
Like a vegetable garden.
Yes.
Where? What, that?
In the middle, yes, there are.
What, there? That doesn't look like a vegetable. There's
yeah,
sunflowers.
Behind you'll see definitely.
Okay.
We had, you have the right to, cultivate. That's right.
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
an agriculture.
Yeah.
You could ask for a right of cultivate in Paris.
Is that how it works? So you just, what, do you write a letter to the town hall?
You have to ask permission to the town hall.
I bet it takes a long time, like 6 months before they get back to you.
Yes, you just have to prepare your season in September
Yeah.
to have vegetables in June. But that means, you know how it works.
Of course,
in France,
yeah.
French administration is like very interesting.
I'm interested, as a French person, what you think of French administration. Because a lot of foreigners like me, we say, oh, it's so difficult. Do you find it difficult too, or are you so used to it
Look, I'm not used to it because it's getting worse and worse and worse. We have an administration which administrates itself. So that means there's a lot of papers, a lot of things to do. But may I tell you something?
Always.
I'm preparing my Australian visa, and I mean there's some. The things which are very similar.
Yeah, you think? I'm not. Yeah,
pretty hard.
I'm not
pretty
surprised.
Hard. But you're right. As a foreigner, probably it's complicated to deal with the French administration.
I had to. Oh, look, we can keep this. We can keep the sound in. People will feel that they're in the park with us. What is it, like 30 young children are walking past?
Yes, there's a school actually just besides, and there's probably the place where they're going to have what we call in France classe verte, green class.
Planting vegetables.
Yes, type of stuff. Looking at the seasons and reconnect to the.
And is it true that you used to live, right there where I'm pointing?
Yes, on the last floor.
Top floor, chambre de bonne?
No, it wasn't really. I've been very lucky. No, it's the one with the terrace.
Oh, what?
It's just great. And I was in front of this place, which is in front of the sun. How do you call that? The sun rays?
Yeah, the sunrise, yeah.
Yes, every morning was beautiful. And to be in Paris, up to these beautiful trees, it's just great.
Amazing.
Just fun. It's a beautiful place.
So I want to just understand before we get into, your story. Like you've lived in, was it eight countries?
That's right.
8 countries, and we talked about it before. Living in a country, it's like what is the rule that it has to be more than 6 months to count? Is that what you think?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So then let's go through the countries so people at home know.
Comor. Highland between Tanzania and Madagascar. I don't know the name in English.
Comoros Islands.
Comoros
Islands. Wow, you lived there.
Yes, a long time ago.
Is that French-speaking?
Yes, it is. It used to be a French, not a colony, but a protectorate. I don't know how you say that. And yes, it's a French-speaking place, and Arabic. A lot of Arabic.
Wow, okay.
And they are independent. They've been independent since 1973.
Right, okay.
And Yemen, Egypt, Morocco, Jordan, Australia twice, Melbourne, and Sydney.
Melbourne?
Yes. Argentina, Mexico, Chile. I forgot Chile.
This feels like more than 8. I feel like this is
8.
So, and this is
I have to stop. Oh, we have a baby neighbor.
It's not my baby for once in the background of the podcast. So a lot of those first countries you mentioned were like sort of French or Arabic, and then you went into South America and then Australia. What an interesting collection of countries you've called home.
Yes, totally diverse and very interesting, with different language to learn. I think whenever you're living outside your country or wherever you're living, you have to learn the language of the natives. Yep. That's just great. Very, very different. The thing which was very difficult, which has been very difficult for me, it's when I stayed almost 10 years in the Arabic world, and then I went to Australia.
Right.
And I was living in Cairo, 25 million people.
Right.
Cairo.
Yeah.
And I arrived in Sydney, and there's less people in all Australia than in
true.
Cairo.
Yeah.
And I
was
feeling in another world. I was feeling in a space. Where are they? Are they on holidays?
Yeah.
They're not. No.
What
normal.
a culture shock that must have been.
Yes.
Because Australia is, in terms of population density, there's so few people for every square kilometre compared to anywhere on Earth, really.
Yes.
So, but Sydney's kind of populated. Like, you must have felt...
Yes, but it was very different anyway.
Yeah, true.
It's populated, but it's very organized. We are in Australia. We're not in Cairo. Cairo, you have donkeys, animals on the street, but a huge traffic, huge pollution.
My brother lives in Sydney. He's a bit of a donkey.
Really?
Yeah. He's probably not listening.
He'll be pleased to listen to you.
Hi, Eddie, if you are listening. Let's talk. The reason that you moved around, my first question when we had a coffee was that you were clearly a spy. I'm sure everyone says that. How many times do people say that? A lot?
Every day.
Really? Oh, gosh. Or maybe they ask if you're a diplomat or in a diplomatic family?
No, because we had this series in France called Le Bureau des Légendes, which was talking about spy people. Everybody thinks I'm a spy. Even my family, even my partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that show is that called.
And
I think it's.
I speak different languages, which are rare too.
Yeah.
And they say, that's strange. This guy. Are you sure I'm not a spy?
Well, I know you're not a spy because you wouldn't do this podcast episode.
No,
That's the giveaway.
It could be just to tromper l'ennemi. How do you say that in English?
To throw the enemy off the scent, maybe
Yes,
to trick the enemy. Yeah, okay.
Trick the enemy.
And that show, I think it's called The Bureau in English. It's on Netflix. Everyone talk. I've got to watch it. I must watch
The
it.
Bureau.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so what? You speak a little bit of Arabic as well?
Russian.
Russian as well.
Yeah.
These are hard languages you've chosen.
No, I don't think there's harder languages than others. No.
You don't? No, that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But surely, like
Arabic for me, what always been hard because of phonetic, which is very hard. There's sound we can't listen to. It's very hard. But the others, no. Whenever you can, I'm pretty fortunate to be. To speak different languages. So after a while, it's easy to learn languages.
Sure. But there are some, what about, I heard Swahili
Yes.
has
Swahili.
not many words at all. And it's very easy to pronounce when you read it compared to Arabic where you have to learn a new...
I've learned Swahili when I was in Comoros Island.
That's what I wondered.
Because there's plenty of Kenyan.
Right.
And it was easy.
Yeah,
because
but
there's no conjugation.
But then you just said it's easy. And Russian and Arabic must be hard compared because you got to learn a new language and stuff. You're just a language. You're a language person.
Yeah, it's easy for me.
Well, I love that. I'm also a language person, but I don't speak anywhere near as many languages.
I do speak a very good French.
Oh, thank you. You should hear my Swedish.
Yes,
That's-
what your Swedish speakers.
You should hear my Swahili.
That's a very
so-
strange. Swedish is that a language with around.
Yep. Oh no, that's Danish. No, Valerie just did a circle with a cross through it. What it has is it's got the O with 2 dots on the top, like a snake bite, and the A with 2 dots on the top,
Yes.
and an A with a little circle on the top. It's 3 extra vowels, 3 extra letters in their alphabet. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I want to talk about, and we didn't mention it, you're not a spy or a diplomat, you work with the Alliance Francaise,
Yes.
and you're going to be the Directrice Générale in Australie.
Yes.
Is that the same position you had last time you were there?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
15 years ago, but with a different place because, the French Alliance is the Alliance Francaise in Australia, like everywhere in the world, is a local association. So you have a board. And the board is impulsing the policies, so that's very interesting.
Okay, that'll be fun to go back after 15 years.
Yes,
I wonder
very
if you'll
pleased.
find that it's changed, like the country has changed a lot as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I've heard, yes, that's changed. What is very nice too, I when I left last time in 2004, I left the Alliance in Sydney with a beautiful project, building project. I don't know if you know Seidler. Seidler, who used to be a very, very, very famous and brilliant Australian architect.
He did the Australian Embassy, right?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
And he offered to the Alliance his last plan.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't seen it.
Oh, wow, okay,
And I work
cool.
a lot with him with that. So I'm very pleased.
Cool.
Very pleased.
That's cool.
He died since, unfortunately. But, yes. It'll be fun.
It's going to be interesting to see, besides just that building, how that country, because it's such a quickly changing... We're going off topic a lot here. I'll get back to Australia and Alliance Francaise because I'm interested about that too. But let's talk about the main subject here. You've lived in all these different places, but you've also lived a lot in France, especially in Corsica, in Paris. Yes. I want you to talk us through the kind of things that a French person misses the most. Like when you're in these countries, are there things that just you're like, oh God, I'd just kill for a crêpe ou Nutella? Or are there things like that?
Not crêpe or Nutella,
No?
but cheese.
Cheese.
That's a French disease.
Disease?
Yeah, it is a disease. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
It's a strong addiction. Even in Corsica, and they are very good cheese.
Yeah.
But they are very similar to each other, these cheeses.
What sort of cheese do they have in Corsica?
Goat cheese.
Okay.
Goat cheese and very strong. But when you're in a continent, as we say from Corsica, in the continent you can have 365, as we know, different type of cheese.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'm a bit ashamed to say I could be addicted to my French cheeses, but really this is the best. This is the only thing I miss.
Really?
Because I'm such in the joy to discover a new place,
Sure.
discover new people, culture, languages. That's fine. But cheese, that's the first stuff. And coiffeur.
I bet.
Hairdresser. That's strange, no?
Okay.
Hairdresser, but I haven't found. I've never found a good hairdresser where I was living. In Paris, I have my hairdresser. Actually, he's Japanese.
Okay.
But anyway, he's been living here for 35 years. And whenever he cut my hair, I don't know if it's French scissors, as I told you, but it's done for 1 year.
You think, what? You get a haircut
for
every
1
year?
year.
It must be the scissors.
Yeah.
It must be those
French
scissors.
scissors.
So you miss your hair. You miss your Japanese hairdresser in France. You miss the cheese. Back to the cheese for a
And
second.
terrace.
And you 2 seconds ago you said there's only the cheese, and
No,
now
that's
you
more.
I think we're gonna get more Eddie. But I want to just back on the cheese for a sec,
Yeah.
because I was thinking about cheese. I love French cheese too, right? And you said there's 365 different types. How many different types do you actually eat? Like honestly, like honest. How many in a year would you have tasted? Do you think?
Alors, I'm a cheese adventurer.
Mm-hmm.
I like to taste things I don't know. Alors, of course, when I come from the south of France, from Provence.
Okay.
So in Provence, we have different types of goat cheeses, and I will be able to buy a lot of cheese, and it will be the main stuff to eat at home with salad or whatever. I don't really eat meat, but I eat cheese.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, 200.
So you would taste 200 cheeses in a year, you
I
think?
think so, yeah.
That's incredible to me. I'm fascinated by it. I need to get to the bottom of this. If I were to test you right now for $1 million prize, you sit there with a pen and paper. How many cheeses do you think you could name?
A lot.
More than 200, I guess.
Perhaps not because I'm old and my brain is not so good, but now at least 100. I'm sure 100.
That is incredible.
Sure,
to
100
me.
because I like this regional typicity, varieties we could find,
Yeah.
and it's what actually something I really miss from France when I'm away.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you're in a place and you're doing 30 kilometers, and it's not the same scenery, it's not the same vegetation, it's not the same mountain, it's not the same taste. It's not the same cheese. That's very, very. The question of terroir, how do you say that?
Yep. I think we use the same word in English.
Terroir.
Yeah.
Terroir.
Yeah.
Voilà.
As in, if
And
people don't know what
that's-
terroir is, it's like it's basically the
Terroir.
like the region of where it's from,
Region,
specifically like the
yes.
ground and
It's-
everything.
It's smaller than the region.
Yeah.
There was a small place. It could be a little valley. It could be a village,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
For example, in my village, I come from a village, very rural area. There's 2 types of goat cheese.
Yeah.
And you can't find it 10 kilometers after. It's here.
Wow.
That's very funny.
What's it called, that cheese?
It's
You don't
only
wanna share
cheese.
that.
No, it's not that. C'est simplement fromage de chèvre. But
Okay.
people know that in this place they are different from 10 kilometers. But it's normal because the sheep are not eating the same grass.
I wonder if, like, in Australia where we don't... I'm sure that there is...
Picodon et fromage de chèvre. You heard about
No.
picodon?
What's picodon?
You've never taste that. I should, because the first time you will. It's a very strong goat and cheese mixture,
Okay.
but strong.
Okay.
You need
Strong as...
you need red wine.
Smells strong as well?
Yes.
Who would have thought we'd be talking about cheeses?
Cheese. And actually, I go back to your question. Yeah, of course, red wine. Yeah.
Australia has good red wine.
Cheese, hairdresser, terrace, and red wine. Yes, you have a beautiful red wine
Yeah.
in Australia. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about the...
Penfold and all this stuff from Barossa Valley and
Yeah.
everything. But I do think that we have a sort of education of the taste education.
Yeah.
And of course, whenever you drink French wine in Australia, actually it's not such a good idea because I prefer to have a very strong, juicy Australian red,
Yeah.
which tastes a bit of eucalyptus. Like this, you have this typicity in Australia
Right.
that we can't have in France. But I miss my Côte du Rhône. I've been born there.
Yeah. I feel like you have a much more defined sense of taste than I do personally. Like, I don't think I have. I think you can learn it. Someone told me once.
Yes.
but I don't think
I've learned it.
How did you learn it?
I went to the university, the wine university in Suse-la-Rousse and Bordeaux.
Right. You've done
Long
so much.
time
How old
ago.
are you? You're like
I'm
90
55.
or something. Right. Okay.
I'm 55.
Okay. Okay. You
But
seem.
you can do it on as you said, you can learn. No, actually, when I learned how to taste, I was in situ. I stopped 4 months of working, and
Incredible.
And that's great.
I wonder if, like, in Australia, where we have wine and everything, or in America or whatever, if there are people with excellent sense of taste can say, I prefer the bananas from South Australia to the bananas from Central Australia. You know what I mean? I don't think there are any bananas there, but you know what I mean? Like,
there's no bananas.
not in Central. Yeah, there are. Not in Central.
And corns.
Yeah. Cans.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, like, I wonder if we have equivalents to that, or if that's a specific.
Sure you have. I remember I met in Australia 15 years ago an oil taster.
A what?
An
Oil taster?
Olive oil
yeah,
taster.
okay. Yep.
And you have beautiful olive oil in Australia.
Right.
And and tea tasters, there's plenty.
It makes sense that it would be olive oil or tea and not bananas. That was a silly thing to say now that I think about it. Okay, but let's go. I will go back to what you said, the terraces. Yes. That's a very, for anyone out there listening who's never been to Paris, Paris is very famous for the terraces, and you're talking about sitting out, watching the world go by, sitting around over a lazy, long coffee. Tell me why you haven't found that. Like, surely other countries do that as well.
Alors, yes, but I don't know. How could I understand? In Australia, when I was 15 years ago, there wasn't so many. And probably because I don't know how to explain that. You're right. There's others.
So there are terraces, but there's a fit.
In Argentina, there's a lot.
And it's not just Paris, is it? You've got it in. You had it in Provence and in Corsica. I've not been to Corsica. Yeah.
In Corsica, people are living on terraces.
Oh, really?
So
what's the difference? What makes the French one so special? Is it the waiters?
I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to explain that. It's a way of living. You have, I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Perhaps can you as a foreigner living in Paris or in France, French terraces are a bit different, no?
There's one very clear difference in that, at least tangible difference, that the seats face outwards. I'm thinking about other countries I've been to. Often they're facing each other on a small table. That's a big difference.
Yes.
But surely there are cafes in Los Angeles or Sydney that have the chairs facing outwards, maybe? Or, I don't know, but I agree with you. I think a lot of people would say the same thing, that they love France for those terraces. But it surely should be something that's easy to replicate in Yemen or...
no possible.
Okay.
No, there's no point. In the Arabic world, the women can't be on terraces, first of all, so I couldn't enjoy that.
Right.
In Yemen, you can't, because only men.
What about in the Comoros Islands? Could they use some terraces?
Expat place.
Yeah.
Not for women. No.
It's really curious to me. So we've got terraces. You said the scissors. It might not be the haircut. It could be the scissors. I'm not sure about that. And the cheese. And you said the wine. Anything else?
This is very cliche. I'm sorry.
No, but it's a reason that the cliches.
Cultural events, definitely. But when I was in the Arabic world, it was so huge in terms of cultural contrasts that, of course, I was missing French theater, because I love theater, and in Paris it's just great. You can go every night, etc. So I was missing that. But the discovery, the everyday discovery was so huge and so intense that was fine. But I do think that we are pretty lucky in terms of variety, of diversity of cultural event, or l'offre culturelle. How do you say that? Offer.
Yeah,
cultural
sure.
offer.
Yeah.
For example, Paris with the cinema. I mean, we have so many cinema in Paris.
Yeah. Since
I arrived 4 days ago, I've already seen 4 films.
French have a deep relationship with cinema, don't they? It's a
passion.
Yeah, it is a passion, isn't it?
It's a passion, and it's yes.
How did you choose what to see? Like, people in other countries are maybe thinking, when you go to the cinema 4 times, it's like, what are the latest blockbusters out? I imagine you didn't go to the big ones. How did you choose what to watch?
First of all, I'll try not to go. I'm going only in very small places which are independent.
Yep.
I'm not going to blockbusters and everything. I'm a reader of Télérama. This is a cultural TV newspaper, and they're very good critics. And as you said before, I will go to Australia and I will manage the French Film Festival, the Alliance Francaise French Film Festival. I have to see a lot of French film because and to think about what could please our public. So, and to try to find high level, I'm going to MK2 in Paris.
Oh, MK2.
MK2, you have.
Okay.
This is an independent.
So the one up
cinemas. There's 20s.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been to the one of the Quai de la Loire. That one's nice.
Yes, Quai de la Loire, Bastille, Beaubourg, Bibliothèque, Montparnasse. A lot of.
Let's wind the conversation back because I know you have to run. I know you're a busy lady. Let's talk about the Alliance Francaise. For those who've never heard about it, what is it? What are you doing there in Australia?
Okay, the Alliance Francaise in Sydney, like everywhere in the world, belongs to a huge network of local association. It's an local association. It's an Australian non-for-profit business. Not a business, actually, an association. And as a manager of the French Alliance, first of all, I have to develop classes and a lot of variety of way to learn French. We have, for example, in Sydney, almost 40 teachers and quite a lot of students. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm very bad with figures, and
That's all right. You haven't moved there yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I have all the paper on my bag, but
so 40 teachers in Sydney. So that must be several centres, or just one? Is it just that one big building?
There is one, and we have 2 other centres delocalized.
Okay.
And we also have teachers who are working in public school.
Okay.
Or other schools, actually.
So it sounds like Australians want to learn French.
Yes, which and we have a lot of francophilie. Francophilie, we say, in Australia.
Francophiles
people. They don't really need to learn French.
No.
Right? It's not a professional objective. It's like for pleasure, for culture, for cinema, for fun, for way of life, for cooking, And so the thing is to try to build bridges interesting between Australia and France, and to give to the public in Sydney. There are 30 alliances in
goodness me in Sydney, Australia. Wow.
Australia.
Wow. Okay.
6 very strong. Like school languages, and with the money of the school languages, you're organizing cultural events. The idea is to, for example, I was with the Australian embassy before, and the idea is to create des résidences, artist residence croisées. Type. I have to go back wherever. So you have to whenever you're a manager of this type of institution. The first month is to meet a lot of people, like cultural, politics, cities, everywhere. And then after this diagnostic, you can create a link strategy between France, and it's fascinating. And
That's
it's very, very pleasant because the people the students we're dealing with, they are so in demand of French way of living, French way of life. And also a mixture. That's very interesting.
I can tell you with great confidence that there will be many Australian Francophiles listening to us talking right now on the show, and even more probably American Francophiles.
They have a very strong and powerful network of alliance in
powerful.
In the States.
They could take down the government.
No, I mean they're powerful in terms they can impose. A real cultural policy.
Cool. And I mean, I've talked to a lot of, in fact, a lot of people listening to us have probably come from shows I've done at Alliance Francaise around the world. And welcome to you all. But let's finish with a message, what you would say, not just to Australians, but to anyone listening, why they should consider learning French.
Because it's just the best way to understand how France and French people are dealing with life. And if you're interested by our culture, the best thing is to learn a language. And it's actually, I should say, something which, avec une nuance, how do you say that?
With a nuance, same.
A nuance. Whenever you want to meet a country, you have to learn the language of the natives.
Yeah. Yep.
It's imperative.
Yep. Not just that, you got to learn the language. You got to learn at least 100 cheeses, guys.
Yes.
At least. And a bit of red wine on the terrace or in the cinema with a good haircut. That's it, right?
Great. Good
Well,
on you, mate.
oh, that was nice. Well, Valerie, best of luck in Australia.
Thanks a lot.
Say hi to my fellow country people
will.
for me.
I will,
and
definitely.
all the best.
Thank you very much. All the best. See you then.
There you have it. Lovely conversation with Valerie. Plenty of laughs. Really fun to chat. Hopefully, one day if I ever make it back to Australia, I guess we'll meet again, and maybe I'll see some of the members of the Alliance Francaise over there. Maybe a book tour. Who knows? Who knows? If you are thinking of becoming a member of the Alliance Francaise wherever you are in the world, if you want to learn French, you heard her. Do it. Who am I to say not to do it? Sounds like fun. But seriously though, I've done a lot of events with Alliance Francaise around, especially around America. A few in England. I think I've done something connected to the Alliance Francaise in France as well. Could it be? I don't know, but that's obviously how I met a lot of you guys who are listening, so welcome if that's the case. I said I'd finish on an email, and this is one that came in response to my weekly newsletter. So if you don't know what that is, if you go to the earfultower.com/newsletter, it'll give you the option to sign up every Friday. Right in your inbox, you'll see everything that you missed from this little community. And, I tell stories and tell tales and sort of link to all the blog posts I've done, all that kind of stuff. And a listener in Tasmania, Carolyn, she emailed, and it was very Australian, this email. It used a phrase like ridgy-didge, which means legitimate, like fair dinkum, you might say, in Australia. And again, but she wrote a bunch of stuff, and then she got into this fun bit that I think you guys might like. She says, I was just reminiscing with my Northern Irish Tassie rellies on the weekend. Rellies is relative. Feels like I'm going to have to translate, perhaps, for some people. About the time we dined at Chez Genou. That's Janou. I believe it's in the Marais. In fact, I've been there. I know exactly which restaurant you're talking about. Caro. She says, and we didn't know that the huge bowl of chocolate mousse that they served us was communal. As in, they gave us a serving spoon and we were only meant to serve and eat what we could manage before they reused it for other patrons. Now, just to pause for a second, Carolyn, I've been to this exact restaurant. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's enormous. When they bring it out, you think they're being extremely generous. And I sense that I know where this email is going. Faux pas coming up. She continues, we thought we had to polish the lot off. And as we don't like to waste, we started offering it to the tables of other touristes next to ours. And my cousin's young daughter was hoeing into it with her own spoon. The waitress raced over, arms flapping. No, ça suffit pas. As in, you can't do that. I argued with her. Whoa, Carolyn, you argued with her. That was very brave. And we had no idea. I said, this wasn't explained to us, not by the staff. It wasn't written anywhere on the menu. We had no idea what the heck the deal was. Caro, oh my goodness, she continues, I reckon others may have done the same. But everyone else I've told this story to somehow knows the correct communal bowl etiquette, apparently by osmosis. And she attaches a picture at the bottom with the caption, Aggie getting stuck into it, where a sweet young girl with a black sort of bow in her hair, dressed all fine for the restaurant, has a big spoon in her hand and a guilty look on her face, and a bowl of mousse in front of her that would serve about 30 people. So I'm not surprised that the waitress didn't like that one. Sorry, Carolyn, that you had to go through that. But there's a warning to all you other people who want to eat at Chez Genou. That mousse is to be served. Do not commit the same faux pas as Carolyn in Tasmania. But thanks for the email. It gave me a laugh. Hopefully the same for you guys there at home. Before I forget, a huge thank you to all you guys who went and left those hilarious, honestly hilarious at times, emoji comments after my sort of challenge to you in the last episode with Lena, where I said if you listen this far, put some kind of clever emoji comment on the next Instagram picture. There were hundreds of them, and some of them were really well done. So credit where credit's due. You guys are the best. My little message to you at the end this time, if you listen this far, is stay tuned. In about a week's time, we're going to launch our next children's book, or at least the pre-sale for it. It'll be in your hands, hopefully, next month. But I want you guys to be there quick, because there are opportunities to get your name in the book and so on, just like last time. Watch this space. Subscribe to the newsletter. You'll find more information. But that'll do for me. Little reminder, it's the start of the month. If you want to be a member on Patreon, everybody, that is how these wheels spin. Patreon.com/The Earful Tower. I bought a new stabilizer. I'm going to do more videos in the coming days, weeks, months, and years. Hopefully see you there. Thanks, Valerie, for being the guest this week. I'll see you guys all very soon. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.